NATO forces on their way out, one of the greatest challenges for Afghanistan's military is filling the hole left by departing air forces, which often played a decisive role in resupplying bases and evacuating wounded soldiers. The Afghan Air Force currently consists of a handful of single-engine airplanes and Russian-made helicopters. The waves of new air crews and pilots, meanwhile, are scrambling to keep up with the demand from ground forces who are desperate for air support. Mi-17 helicopters and Cessna airplanes fly daily missions carrying supplies and troops, but pilots and crews say it is their missions ferrying wounded and dead soldiers that give them the most pride.
Especially when we are carrying Kazakhs, I feel like I'm saving someone's life. So I'm enjoying a lot that flight.
The next top priority for the Afghan Air Force, officials say, is to use the aircraft to insert soldiers quickly into combat and support them in ground operations. The Air Force and Army are training together to prepare both air crews and soldiers for joint operations. Air assault missions are a relatively new concept for most Afghan security forces, and the training often focuses on the most basic tactics, such as boarding aircraft and taking up defensive positions on the ground. Captain Falad Shirzad with the Afghan Army Commandos says since NATO has stopped providing as much air support, the Afghan helicopters will play an important role in quickly transporting his men and allowing them to surprise the insurgents. The ability to provide close air support for ground troops is also a goal. While the Air Force's small fleet of Mi-35 attack helicopters can launch airstrikes and escort the transport aircraft, they do not yet provide close air support. Pilots hope new 23mm cannons fitted to the Mi-35s will allow them to provide more accurate support. By using this weapon system, the helicopters can hit their targets more precisely, says Mi-35 pilot Major Mohammed Zahir. If rockets are used, it increases the risk of civilian casualties. NATO advisors are still deeply embedded with Afghan air crews.
Everybody should be listening to you! You tell them what to do!
They help in the planning process and often fly missions, helping both Afghan pilots and air crews hone their skills.
Any Air Force takes time to build. It's a complex, it's a technical field. Even in the U.S. Air Force, it takes 3 to 4 years to build and construct or pilot. So this Afghan Air Force, starting from scratch, definitely needs that time to develop. The Afghan Air Force is doing things today that we never imagined even 8 months ago. 8 months ago, it would take 3 days to do a Kazakh mission, like the one that you got to see. Now it's down to an average of under 3 hours.
Still, foreign advisors are expected to remain with the Afghan Air Force into 2017, well after the last NATO combat troops are withdrawn next year. For Stars and Stripes in Afghanistan, I'm Josh Smith.